Okay, I've got everything taped in place. I've got a fan running in the background so I don't get poisoned by the glue fumes. And I've put some super glue into this pipette, and I'm just going to start dropping it onto the purfling lines on the soundboard. And because this glue is so thin, it just travels right along the wood and looks for the slightest gap, and it soaks right in. I'm sure it doesn't show up in this video, but I can watch it. It'll kind of pool in a spot for just a split second, and then it just disappears as it soaks in. Okay, now I'll pull out this Teflon strip. Well, there are a couple of pieces of Teflon strip. And instead of the Teflon, I'll put in this strip of black and white purfling. And I'm going to start at the back end where it gets mitered to the tail graft. Got my corner mitered, and I'm using the same method with the super glue. Just let this dry for a little bit, then I can scrape it all down and move on to the bevel. Okay, the bindings and purflings are pretty much flush with the side and the top all the way around. So I don't think I mentioned it, but when I cut the channel for the purfling lines, I cut it just slightly inside of where the bevel ended. There's maybe, I don't know, 50 thousandths of an inch or so of a gap between the end of the purfling and the start of the bevel. So I'm going to go back to using my angled block with sandpaper, and I'm going to sand along the bevel until I sand inward enough that I'm just touching the red line, the inside line of the purfling. And then I'll lay the veneer on top of the bevel. This also allows me to shave down the outer binding strip to the same angle as the bevel. Okay, I have this piece of maple that I sanded down to about 30 thousandths of an inch, and that is going to cover the bevel. Earlier I made a tracing of the bevel shape, so I'm going to glue that to the veneer and then cut the veneer out to roughly that shape and glue it on. So here's my piece of veneer, and I've still got the paper on it. I cut the veneer out a little bit bigger than the outline of the bevel. So now it's time to glue this on to the bevel. Okay, let that dry for a while and untape it and see how it looks. So the black, white, and red lines are starting to emerge. I'll just keep scraping and sanding until I can see everything. Same thing along the side here. Well, just about there. Looks pretty good. Just a little bit of cleanup left, and I'll be done with it.